Level 1. The Pee-wee Hopeful. You are 8 years old, and your helmet is so large it makes you look like a bobblehead on a grass field. You signed up because your father told you it was a rite of passage, and your mother liked the idea of you being tired enough to sleep. You spend 3 days a week in a park that smells like cut grass and orange slices. You learn how to fall without crying in front of the other kids. You thought you'd be catching touchdowns, but for the first season, you are just a human bowling pin in a lineup. You learn the first rule of the gridiron. The ground is the only teammate that never misses a hit. You spend your Saturdays shivering on a plastic bench, watching a kid twice your size run through your entire team. You learn to strap on pads that weigh 10 pounds while your fingers are numb from the autumn chill. You aren't a player yet. You are just a kid in a heavy costume, learning that some things in life only happen after a collision. You spend your nights looking at a poster of a pro quarterback, wondering if his shoulders ever hurt this much.
You are a ghost in the huddle, waiting for a coach to remember your name. The world is a stadium you haven't entered yet, and the gate is a lot heavier than you thought. Level 2. The Varsity Starter. You are 16, and the Friday night lights are the only suns that matter in your small town. You have graduated to a jersey that actually fits and a local reputation that makes you feel 10 feet tall in the hallways. Your life is a relentless grind of 5 a.m. weight room sessions and summer two-a-days where the humidity feels like a wet blanket on your lungs. You spend 4 hours a day studying grainy film until you can see the opponent's linebacker in your sleep. You are part of a brotherhood, 30 guys sharing a locker room that smells like industrial detergent, tape, and unearned confidence. You realize that your town's pride is a heavy thing to carry when the score is tied in the fourth quarter. You learn the Oklahoma drill, hitting a teammate head-on until the ringing in your ears becomes a background noise you learn to ignore. You realize you aren't an individual anymore. You are a position on a depth chart written in pencil. You spend your winters in the training room, an ice pack taped to your knee, and a textbook open on your lap that you're too tired to read. You've seen your first real injury, and the sound of a ligament snapping is a noise that will haunt your dreams for a decade. You are a local hero now, paid in varsity jackets and the hollow promise of a college scout in the stands. The machine moves forward, and you are just a part that can be replaced the moment you stop moving.
Level 3. The D1 Icon. You've survived 4 years of high school ball and showed you have the measurables the scouts crave. You are a commodity in a multi-billion-dollar recruiting industry where your worth is measured in star ratings and dash times. You spend your weekends on official visits, being shown shiny locker rooms while coaches promise you the world and a path to the league. You choose a school and sign a letter of intent that is basically a deed to your body for the next 4 years. You realize the second rule. A scholarship isn't a gift. It's a contract for 40 hours of labor disguised as an education. You spend your nights looking at big board rankings, terrified that a single bad game will drop you into total obscurity. You are the brains and the brawn of the future, the one the wealthy alumni are betting their donations on. You learn the business of ball, where loyalty is a word used by people trying to get you to sign for less than you're worth. You spend your nights in hotel rooms in strange cities, calculating your chances of surviving the Saturday afternoon collision. You aren't just a player anymore. You are a brand that needs to be protected by a PR team you don't even know. You handle the pressure of 80,000 people screaming your name, then go back to a dorm room as broken as your spirit. You see the game as a series of schemes and statistics that you have to master to survive the next cut.
Level 4. The Draft Prospect. You have been in the system for 7 years, and you are finally invited to the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. You are the most analyzed human being on the planet for a 48-hour window. You don't play football here. You are a lab rat in spandex being measured, prodded, and timed by men with clipboards. You spend your days in a blur of medical exams where team doctors look at your x-rays like they're looking for a reason to say no. When the clock starts, you have to run a 4.4 40-yard dash with the weight of your family's entire future on your back. You've seen 3 different surgeons for 3 different parts of your body, and you pray the scars don't cost you $1 million.
You realize that your life belongs to the scouts and the GMs, and they only care about your vertical leap, not your heart. Your body is a map of trauma from 3 different conferences, and your heart is a graveyard of friends who didn't get the invite. You sit in a green room for 6 hours, watching names get called while yours stays on the board like a curse. You are a product in a high-stakes auction, and your price is dropping with every pick the teams make. You wait for the phone to ring in a quiet room that feels like a tomb for your ambitions. Eventually, it rings, and the person on the other end tells you that your dream is finally a job. You realize you've reached the summit, but you're too tired to enjoy the view.
Level 5. The NFL Rookie. You are the bottom of the roster at a professional training camp where everyone is faster than you. You are the new hire who has to carry the veterans' pads and sing your fight song in the cafeteria for their amusement. You sit in the back of the meeting room trying to learn a playbook that is 3 inches thick and written in a foreign language. You are the living proof of how fast the game truly is. Everyone on the field is a freak of nature, and you are just the newest one. You have a signing bonus now, and a condo in a city you've never visited, and a target on your back for every hungry linebacker. You realize that your career average is only 3.3 years, and you are already in year 1.
You realize you have reached the pros, only to realize that the pros are just a high-speed exit ramp for most of the people. You are the father of a dream your father never reached, and you know that you are 1 cut day away from a normal life. You carry the shield, not with your hands, but with your constant anxiety about the next play. You spend your nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if you'll still be in the city by the time the sun goes down. You learn that in the pros, the locker room is just an office where everyone is competing for your chair. You are the ultimate survivor in a world that discards the weak before they can even unpack their bags. You have finally arrived, but you've never been more aware of how quickly you could leave.
Level 6. The Franchise Veteran. You didn't just make the team, you became the face of it with a $100 million contract that everyone talks about. You are a veteran whose image is on the side of the stadium and whose jersey is in every kid's closet. You wear a Captain C on your chest and a polished helmet that has been through 100 literal battles. The rookies look at you like you are a god, and the media talks to you like you are a seasoned politician. You spend your days managing your foundation and your nights studying defensive coverages of a team that has been trying to kill you for 6 years. You think you are in command of the offense, but everyone knows you are just a high-value asset that the owner is protecting. You learn the 4th rule. In the pros, stats matter more than soul. But on the injury report, your contract doesn't care who you are.
You see the league as a chess game where the pieces are human lives, and you are the queen. You are surrounded by 52 teammates who would take your spot in a heartbeat for half your salary if given the chance. You feel the weight of the city on your shoulders, and for the first time, you wonder if your body can actually hold it. You realize that your fame is just a loan that the public will collect the moment you stop winning games. You are a king on a throne made of ice, and the sun is starting to get very bright. You are the franchise, but even franchises have expiration dates.
Level 7. The Legend. You are the champion of the league. 2 rings and the MVP trophy sit on your mantle in a room you rarely enter. You are a name that will be remembered long after you stop being able to run. You live in a mansion with a home theater where you watch your own highlights because you can't remember the actual games. You don't feel the hits anymore. You just feel the numbness in your hands and the fog in your brain that never clears. Your success isn't measured in yards, but in legacy, endorsement deals, and your ranking on the all-time lists. You realize that you are no longer a player. You are a monument that happens to be wearing a gold jacket. You carry the history of the game on your shoulders, and the gravity of it is starting to turn your walk into a limp.
Every game you play is a highlight reel for a generation of kids who will never know the pain it cost you. You are the king of the league, but you feel like a man standing on a pedestal made of painkillers and regrets.
You realize that fame isn't about the crowd. It's about the silence when the crowd goes home and the lights go out. You have everything you ever wanted, and you can't remember the last time you felt a genuine, unscripted emotion. You look at your rings and see the reflection of a man you used to be, and he looks like a stranger. You are a ghost of your own greatness, haunting the stadiums where you used to be a god.
Level 8. The Declining Star. The speed of the game has finally caught up to you, and your body has finally decided to quit. You are the veteran who gets traded to a rebuilding team for a second-round pick and a minimum salary. You are no longer the face of the franchise. You are the cautionary tale that the coaches use to scare the rookies. You spend more time in the training room than on the practice field, your body held together by tape and stubbornness. You watch from the sidelines as a 21-year-old kid with your old number runs faster than you ever could. You realize that the game doesn't love you back. It just uses you until there's nothing left to break. You spend your nights in a hotel room in a city where no one knows your name, icing joints that won't stop throbbing.
You learn the final lesson of the active player. The hardest part isn't the hit. It's the realization that you're no longer the one delivering them. You are a shadow in the locker room, a bridge to a future you won't be part of anymore. You are waiting for the phone call that tells you it's over, and part of you hopes it comes today. You sit in the dark, watching the clock tick, knowing that your time has already run out. You are a warrior without a war, looking for a way to exit the field with your dignity intact. You are the end of an era, and the world has already moved on to the next one. Level 9, the executive. You are the top of the food chain, the one who signs the checks and hires the coaches you once played for. You are sitting in a luxury suite behind bulletproof glass, looking down at a field you haven't touched in 20 years. You have achieved total wealth, and the first thing it did was make you view the players as line items on a balance sheet. You are the only person in the stadium who knows the full truth of the league's inevitable collision with reality. You sit in a boardroom at 3 a.m., looking at a revenue projection for a market that is getting bored of the violence. You have to decide if a city should lose its team so that a franchise can increase its value by 10%.
You realize that ultimate power is just ultimate detachment. You have 10,000 employees, but not a single peer. The golden trophy you once worshipped finally looks like a paperweight for a world that is moving too fast for you. Every choice you make is a choice between a profit and a public relations nightmare that could ruin your legacy. You are a titan in a suit, managing the fallout of a game you no longer recognize, but still own. You realize that you have conquered the game, but the game is the one that truly owns you.
Level 10. The Retired Veteran. You are 72 years old, and you retired decades ago to a quiet home where the stairs feel like an unclimbed mountain. You live in a house full of trophies that you have to dust every morning to remember why you can't walk straight. You spend your days writing a letter to the league that no one in the main office will ever bother to read. You have a massive pension, a small collection of custom suits, and a long list of doctors who keep you alive. You sit on your porch and watch the rain, wondering if the fame was ever worth the tremors in your hands. A young kid walks up the road, clutching a yellow beanie and wearing a green shirt. He is 23, and he tells you he has a dream to start a tech company that will change the game.
You look at him, and you see a different kind of founder. One with wide eyes and a soul that hasn't been hit yet. You don't tell him about the surgeries, the CTE, or the 3 a.m. loneliness in a house too big for one man. You just hand him a glass of water and tell him to make sure his shoes are comfortable before he goes. The older you get, the more you realize that the best part of the game was the part you didn't record. You watch him walk away,
knowing he has no idea what's coming. And you wouldn't change a thing.